Hello, everybody. I know it's been so long since you've seen me. You've been missing me, I'm sure. I hope you've been enjoying all these assessments. They're really good for you. I know it's a lot of writing and tediousness, but it's really good for you. In Chapter 8, we're going to accelerate our reaction time, okay? Strategizing your game plan and creating your career fitness portfolio. Now, this is what I was telling you about. We're working on our portfolio. This is your portfolio, your stuff, the stuff that you've put together, you figured out, and that you're taking to your employer or future hopeful employer. This is you in a nutshell, okay? So in this chapter, we're going to describe and explore our own decision-making process. How do you process and make decisions? Everyone's different. Okay, we're going to apply the principles of decision-making in your career search. How do you do it, and how do you make it work for you? Identify psychological barriers to decision-making and develop alternative strategies. We all have psychological barriers. That's just life. So if you can understand what those are, you can then better navigate around them and through them. Okay? We're going to write a clear objective for ourselves. What is our objective? What are we trying to do, and where are we trying to go, and how we can make that very clear for ourselves. Okay. Summarize insights gained from the past chapters, all of the assessments that you've been doing. We're going to summarize that. Make tentative career education training choices. Tentative means, it's a plan. It doesn't mean it's written in stone. It's a plan. Okay, and we're going to use stress management techniques, very important. Our stress management is important. And then set and manage financial goals. Financial planning is a whole nother class, but we still need to do that, because depending on the career you have financial things you need to take care of. So that's what we're going to look at. Okay, so in this chapter, we're going to look at the barriers. What barriers do we have? We all have perceived barriers. And this is one of the things I looked at in my dissertation. Your perceived barriers come from your personality, but your life experiences, where you grew up, how you grew up, and your age has a lot to do with it, and a lot of factors. But we all have perceived barriers. Now, perceived does not mean real. Perceived is a perception. That doesn't mean it's real. So maybe I like the saying, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. It's very true. If we change the way we look at it, it's really not a barrier maybe. Maybe it's something that was really simply solved. We just didn't see it. So that is what we're looking at. We're going to look at how we make decisions. How we make decisions, planning. Are we impulsive, intuitive, compliant? Do we tend to delay? Are we fatalistic in our thinking? Are we agonizing or paralytic? Meaning these are all ways that we learn to function, but maybe it's not working for us, and we need to look at that so that we can overcome some of this stuff, okay? Or maybe you came from a family that told you can't do it, you can't do it. So you just figured, I can't do it. Or maybe you're a really good planner. Maybe you need to work on that. Maybe you're too impulsive and you need to slow it down. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're very slow, but you're too slow. The boat goes by, you're still on the dock. We need to look at all of these different things and figure out how to balance them and make them work for us, okay? So we're going to do some exercises on factors adversely affecting our decisions. We're going to look at our assumptions, our feelings, and ask ourselves, why are we clinging to some of these behaviors? Is it too scary to let them go? Is it too scary to jump off the cliff a little bit? I don't know. We need to look at it. Your personality has a lot to do with that too, but we need to challenge ourselves and get out of those boxes, or we're stuck, okay? Then we're going to look at conditions for change. When is the condition right for change? Unfortunately for us as humans, what really makes us change, and it's really not fun, is pain. When we get in a painful situation is usually when we're motivated to make a change. Unfortunately, we as human beings tend to get complacent, and when something's really comfy, we get kind of lazy. So the universe has a way of kicking us in the behind and saying, nope, time to do something different. And usually it is something that gets our attention. So we're going to look at some decision-making models that you can look at, maybe if you get stuck in a decision, to kind of help you to overcome and go to the next step. And we're going to look at linear decision making, rational decision making versus intuitive, meaning how to make a logical decision versus a gut decision, or balance out the two, because sometimes if you just go all intuitive, you're missing some logic, and sometimes when you're too logical, you're just missing the intuitive part. So it's really nice to find a nice balance. It's not easy, but it's a good thing to learn. And then we're going to do some more goal setting. We're going to really get down to our goals, and all of the exercises in this book for the goal setting piece is very important that you follow and do these exactly as they're called out for, because it's really important. Then we have to look at our financial resources. We have to be realistic. What can we afford? What can we do? How can we do it? And what's realistic? And set those goals. And how do we save money? What is our credit? What's insurance? Now, some of you older students, you already know. Some of you newer students, you're learning this, but this is very important information. What are your insurance needs? And budgeting. Budgeting's hard for everybody, okay? But it's important. And then managing our stress. Whew, wish that was easy. I wish I could say I have that mastered, but it's something we all struggle with. And depending on our personality, it's harder for some than others. You know, there's people I know that's just everything rolls off like a duck's back. I'm not one of those. I'm working on it. Everyone's different, and our personality has a lot to do with that. So we're going to work a little bit on that and how to manage our stress, and then further look at deciding on a major if you haven't had one, if you haven't had that yet, and choosing a major if you haven't done that yet, and then deciding on what kind of training we need to do that. This is where your education plan comes in too, and looking at ONET. So this is going to be another really good opportunity for you to really just do the exercises, do the exercises, do the exercises. They're really important. And that pretty much wraps up that chapter for you. And I will see you in the next. And enjoy all your exercises. Exercise, exercise.